Hello there, how are you? I am sitting in front of my freshly lit fire. It is freezing here in Melbourne this afternoon. I hope you're having a nice Saturday. I just have been thinking today that it would be really useful, perhaps, to give you a little heads up on some of the things that I'm working on and what came out of the survey that I recently asked you all to fill in for me. And a big thank you to everybody who did participate because it really is gratifying to know that it was the questions I was asking actually prompted people to actually give some thought to their answers, and the responses I got were really, really interesting for me. Not just the responses to the multiple choice questions, but also some of the actual written answers were really, really interesting. So some people have given me permission to actually do specific live streams addressing some of their comments, and I'm going to do that over the coming days and weeks, so bear with me. But I wanted to give you a little overview. So a bit over 60 people now have answered or responded to the survey, and there were some really interesting things that came out of it, the things that people are struggling with. And so just sitting here on a Saturday afternoon, lighting my fire, and I was thinking about, the struggle that people are having at the moment with a range of issues in their businesses, and in particular, time management. And I think on a Saturday, it always strikes me on a Saturday, this whole question around time management. How do we do all the things that we have to do? On a Saturday, I'm usually taking my older son to his acting class. And then I have 2 hours where I would usually sit in a cafe and maybe get some work done. And I'm so productive in those 2 hours because I am uninterrupted. I know I've got a deadline to get something done, and I churn through. So today I actually got a series of images and tips, like little tip sheets, I guess. I put together a series of tips that you're going to start seeing popping up on my social media probably from tomorrow, actually. They're all tips around things to think about and be actioning around the transition of the financial year. So not necessarily anything to do with your tax, in fact, probably nothing to do with your tax really, but using the change of financial year as a good opportunity to think about a whole bunch of stuff, because you're going through your figures, you're thinking about your business. There's a whole range of things that might be really helpful to think about at this particular time. So I've got a bunch of posts coming to help you shape your thinking around those things. So yeah, thinking about time management and how that was really the biggest concern on a number of levels. Just making sure my fire's alive here. How that was the biggest concern on a number of levels for people, and it showed up in a couple of ways. It showed up in the sense that people are struggling with time management and getting all of their things done. They're struggling with delegation, so being able to delegate to someone. And linked to that was people's worry about staffing. Now, the bulk of respondents were actually solo practitioners or solo business owners. So their number one issue around staffing was recruitment. And so many of these business owners are clearly overwhelmed, sick of trying to do everything themselves, really want some help, and are stuck at that point. They know they need help and they're stuck. And so recruitment has become like this majorly pressing issue. That was a really big response to those questions, asking about staffing and recruitment and things like that. The other, if we sort of flip the responses to the survey on their head, the other thing I found so interesting was people's responses to questions about marketing. And, people have these conversations with me about marketing all the time, and usually I'm talking about social media. And when I'm talking about social media, people go all funny. They don't want to be visible. They don't want to put themselves out there. They don't have time. They're already struggling with time management. They want to be able to delegate it all. They don't know where to start. They don't know where to look, and they don't think they can afford it, right? But the interesting response on the survey around marketing predominantly was really around, we're too busy already. I'm not doing marketing because I don't want to be any busier than I already am. So you can tie that back into that time management concern. I'm too busy. I don't know who to delegate to, or I have no one I can find to delegate to. So why would I market, right? So the interesting thing around that, and this is a conversation I've been having with a lot of people lately, is reminding people that marketing isn't just about selling. Marketing isn't just about drumming up business. Marketing is about providing a consistent, relatable presence for your community. And what that results in, if you need people in your business, like staff, is those people are probably going to follow you on social media. So when you are needing staff, if they're already following you on social media, they're going to be drawn to working with you. The nice thing is, increasingly in my practice, we haven't advertised for staff for the longest time because people are following what we do on social media. They already feel they have a relationship with us. They feel like they know who we are. They know what we're about. They know what we do. So when they're ready for a job, they feel that they know, like, and trust who we are. And so they feel okay about approaching us and asking if they can join our team, which is really awesome. And I love it when that happens, because what happens then is those people basically have self-selected. They're self-selected into our culture, and our culture is what's on display in our social media. It's the same with my personal branding. So this is my personal branding stuff. This is not my clinic stuff that I'm talking about. You know, I'm on my personal branding page when I'm talking to you now. And so with my personal branding, I'm when I'm doing my social media, I'm demonstrating a certain culture of, you know, my values are on display and my mission is on display. And so when I attract new clients who want to work with me as their business coach, it's because they feel like they know, like, and trust me, and our cultural priorities seem to match. I don't think I've ever been approached by a client to work with them as a business coach who I felt they were the wrong fit for me. I would say so if I thought they were, but so far the right people have selected themselves, if you like, because of that relationship that they've built with me through social media. Now, getting back to the survey, people don't want more clients. They don't want more work. They're already drowning. They want more staff. It's the same concept. Like I said, my clinic, we haven't had to advertise for the longest time. And in fact, the staff we do have, who I adore deeply, they recently, we've had a few of them say, can I do more days? Can I work more? So we still don't have to recruit because the culture is so supportive of the team that they want to spend more time working with us, which is a great win for us as a business. I love that that's how they respond to being part of the team, but it would work for any business that is attracting the right souls to join their little community. And this is why having a relatable social media presence is really, really important on all of the levels. Sure, if you want to use it to drum up more business, it's absolutely great for that. Even people with new social media activity. So one of my coaching clients has a brand new, relatively speaking, it's probably 6 months old now, social media presence, none beforehand, never dabbled in it, had nothing to do with it at all until she started working with me and couldn't get out of it really. She's now telling me that her latest recruits have been people that have come to them because they've seen them on social media. So it is a really useful platform. It is really important that we get past this idea that we can only use social media for selling. There's so much more value in having a presence on social media than that. So getting back to the survey, it was just fascinating to me to see this marriage of concerns between time management, staffing, and avoiding marketing, when the marketing could actually solve their staffing issues, which would then in turn help with their time management concerns. So as you probably know, I've got my CEO mindset course, which actually I kind of feel really lucky that I'd started working on that course a year ago. It got COVIDed. It was meant to be a live workshop. And in running the survey, I wanted to, I guess, give the community opportunity to throw in some ideas and some comments and suggestions about the things that were important to them before assuming that the course was still relevant. So it's been really gratifying to see that the things that I think are of most benefit to people are the things that they're asking and talking about in the survey. So in that course, there's going to be so much action. The course will run live over 6 weeks. It will cover off on things like money mindset, and the money bullshit we carry around with us is phenomenal, especially if you're in the helping professions like me. Marketing, recruitment and retention, all sorts of tricks and tips, but also some real practical things for you to work on between sessions. So there'll be 6 weekly group live meetings, if you like, or training sessions. But in between each of those, you'll have things that I'll be giving you to work on. And there's pre-work before you even start. So the training itself starts on the 29th of July. So the earlier you start, the more opportunity you've got to not only dive into the pre-work, but ask me questions about it, because all that stuff's housed in a Facebook group. So I'm really excited. I'm really excited about the end of financial year tips that I'm going to be sharing with you over the next bunch of days. I'm really excited about the CEO mindset training. I cannot wait to get that rolling, because I think it's so important to get these concepts that people struggle so much with around delegation in particular. Like when I think about the emotions behind what it's like to be a business owner and delegating, and then dealing with your own inner demons because you feel lazy, because you're delegating to somebody else something that you could do yourself. Sure, you could do it yourself. Sure, you could stay awake all day, all night, every night, work every weekend, and clone yourself and still not have the time to do everything yourself. You actually have to delegate to let your business survive, because otherwise you burn out and then there ain't no business. So all of these mindset issues, I guess for me, the mission around why I do what I do, it all starts with those emotions, right? That sense of overwhelm that business owners invariably find themselves stuck in sometimes. That sense of isolation, especially when you're in your business and you feel like there's nobody else you can talk to, or there's nobody else that gets you. I had somebody who was talking to me the other day who was interested to join one of my group programs, and she said, I just don't want to feel alone anymore. I want to feel like I've got people who get what I'm doing and what I'm talking about and what I'm excited about, not just the problem stuff, but also the exciting stuff. You want a cheer squad, right? So all of those emotions around being a boss and thinking like a CEO. And that just means, you know, having a vision and trusting your vision, being a bit future oriented, learning some skills around recognizing the ups and downs of business, and that it doesn't mean you suck just because your business has these ups and downs. All businesses have ups and downs. It's just that we feel them more in small business because everything hits us harder because we're littler. No different to a boat on the ocean, you know, a little tiny yacht versus the Queen Mary. They're going to feel the waves differently, right? So, can you tell I'm excited? I think because this training has been so long in coming, it's been rattling around in my head for so long. And I've certainly during COVID, you know, seeing so many business owners struggling so much with overwhelm, you know, the burnout risk that I see at the moment. In our sector in particular, I'm very concerned about burnout risk. But in all small businesses, I see so many people struggling to just stay afloat and to find the energy to innovate, to find the energy to tolerate all the uncertainty that we are dealing with in our world. Sydney going into lockdown at the moment, you guys have my absolute heart with you. Having been through 4 lockdowns in Melbourne, you know, I know how frightening and stressful and terrifying and unpredictable and all of the feelings, I absolutely understand. So, you know, I'm really definitely thinking of you guys tonight. It's been a very trying time for so many people in business in so many sectors. So, one of the questions I often struggle with is, you know, how many people can I help? How do I make all of the concepts that I talk about how do I make them be relatable to as many people as possible? How do I make them as accessible to as many people as possible as I can? Which feeds into, some of my planning for the year ahead and some of the courses that I'll be launching a bit later on as well. Things that will be more generalized, I guess, to various sectors. Anyway, that's getting ahead of myself, isn't it? So, long story short, really interesting results from the survey. Thank you again to everybody who responded. I'm really, really fascinated by this sort of perfect storm of worries, the overwhelm with the time management, the desire for help because they're worried about staffing and retention, and of course, this fear around marketing, because this fear that if I market and get more business that I'm going to have to say no to, then I really am going to drown. If we can tie all those worries together and get some skill around overcoming some of the fears behind some of that stuff and learn some skill around delegating and some skill around identifying how to get the help you need in your business, I think that, will prevent some of that burnout that I was talking about before. So that does excite me. That really does excite me, the idea of helping people prevent that burnout and helping people feel less overwhelmed, of course. Nobody likes feeling overwhelmed. It really does suck. So I can see there's some comments there. I don't have my glasses on, I confess, so I'm sorry I can't read them, but I'll come back and answer them a bit later on. Thank you for joining me in front of my lovely fire on this Saturday evening, and I do hope you have a fabulous weekend. So keep your eyes peeled for all these little end of financial year tips and tricks that I'll be sharing with you over the next few days, and I'll talk to you again very soon. Have a lovely Saturday night. Bye for now.